What's going on, chicken friends? It's Donna Little from the Coop Scoop, and I'm out here in the chicken coop because I want to talk about training your chickens to use the nest box to lay their eggs in. Now, if you've never had chickens before, you might not have even given that any thought that they need a little bit of guidance from you, sometimes. Now, if you do keep your chickens contained and they're in a smallish run and they have a nice little coop to go into and you've provided them with, she just laid an egg, I don't know if you heard it, and you've provided them with some nice cozy little nest boxes and that's sort of their only option, that's probably where they'll go. But if you're like me and you free range your chickens, they're going to probably find their own place under a bush or your shed or up in the top of your barn, somewhere that is very inconvenient, and it's also going to cause you to have to go on a little bit of an Easter egg hunt every single day to find where they're laying. So if you just head them in the right direction from the beginning, you're probably going to have no problem. If you have never had chickens before, your first indication that they are about to start laying, and it is an exciting time when you're about to get those first eggs, is you're going to see your chickens squat and when you approach them. So if you are walking along and you're about to pass one of them and she all of a sudden hits the ground, especially if they're anywhere between the ages of like 4 months to 8 months old, that is your first indication that an egg is going to be coming probably within a week or two. So that is when you're going to definitely want to show them the nest box. And the thing that has worked best for me throughout the years is to put fake eggs in the nest boxes. You can buy fake eggs at your local farm store. You can buy golf balls and use those. The chickens don't know the difference. Actually, that's what I usually use, is golf balls. You're going to put them in the nest boxes, and then when you see those girls starting to squat, just, if you can, I know everybody can't get their hands on their chickens, but if you can, pick your chicken up and stand them in front of that nest box, and they're going to see that, and their instincts are going to tell them the chicken's already laid an egg there, and that is where I need to go, because they love to lay where another chicken has already laid. So that is going to be the easiest way to get them started. You will probably, after you've shown them, you'll see them start to check them out themselves. You might come out to the coop and find them walking in and out, and they'll go to different ones, and they'll finally figure out which one they want to lay in. And usually, that's all there is to it. I would say also, if you have, say you've gotten 10 chickens, you probably don't really need more than 2 or 3 nest boxes, because you're going to find if you've got 25 chickens, they're going to use the same 4 or 5 nest boxes. So a good ratio is 1 nest box for every 4 to 5 hens. And, the rest of them may or may, well, mine do tend to rotate. They'll like lay in these consistently, and then they'll stop doing that, and then everybody switches to the ones that are off camera right here beside me. They'll go to those and lay in those for a little while, so they have their own way of doing things. But you're also going to want to make it a little bit private, and like you can see those back there, they're nice and enclosed, they're not too big. I think the size of those is around 13 inches by 13 inches is what I want to say we did. And it's, plenty big enough for even my biggest hens. That is actually my biggest hen in there. They're going to have plenty of room in there, but they're also going to feel nice and cozy in there. I like my nest boxes to be up off the ground. I feel like they feel a little bit safer when they're in there, but having them on the ground is also perfectly fine. If you are going to raise them up off the ground, though, is definitely a good idea to not make them higher than your roost bars. You want them to be lower, because your chickens at night are going to want to sleep on the highest possible spot they can find in your coop. And if it happens to be the nest boxes, then you're going to have a big mess in there, because they're going to poop all night long in there, and you're going to have to clean it constantly. And speaking of cleaning, you definitely want to keep it clean. If I see poop in the nest box, I get it out right away. You definitely want to completely do a clean out. I do one about every 10 days, and that's just to keep, it'll help keep parasites down and just make a cleaner environment for them in there. Also, put something down in there that's going to be soft. You can use straw or hemp. You can use pine shavings, or you can go on Amazon and buy nesting pads. Those are great to use. I see people also hang curtains in front of them. I haven't had to do that to give them extra privacy, but they do like to feel a little bit private when they're in there. So you can hang curtains up if you want to. I think that's, you know, an awesome option to do. But just make it someplace that's inviting, and I'm telling you, the fake eggs has done the trick for me every single time. Even with all of that done, every now and then, if you're free ranging your chickens, you're gonna have one, very possibly, that is gonna decide to just go off on her own and find herself, like I said, the most inconvenient place to go lay those eggs, and then you're gonna be hunting for them every day, and you know, that's just a habit you wanna break as quickly as you can. So if you have that happen, and you need to sort of retrain, sometimes it's just as simple as blocking that area, and that'll be, you know, all it takes, and they'll just go back to the nest box, no problem. However, sometimes you have a hen that is very persistent, or even it's that you can't block the area off. If you can't, I would say make it uncomfortable for them, where they're not gonna wanna go there, put a piece of plywood down, or just something in the way that's gonna make it uncomfortable. You might have one that is persistent and will just move down to the next bush or whatever. If that happens and you just can't break them from doing that, you might have to resort to bringing them back in. Even if you don't want to bring all of them in, at least give them a little buddy in there, a little jail mate, and close them back into your run. Don't close them back into your coop, especially if it's in the dead of summer and you don't have good ventilation and airflow in there. If it's especially a smaller coop, not one that you can walk into, I wouldn't recommend that. It's going to be way too hot for them during the day. But if you have, and you probably do, a nice enclosed run, then just make sure they can't get out of the run and give it, you know, a week or 2 weeks, something like that. That'll get them back on track. They'll start using the nest boxes again because they don't have a choice. And they're kind of creatures of habit, so they'll, you know, just decide that that's the place to go again, and they'll usually, it'll get them right back on track. Now, I will tell you a situation I had last year, and I kind of just went with it and it worked out. So this is something that you can also consider if it's, you know, something that you think will work out for you. I had a hen that decided she was going to start laying her eggs right outside of the coop, and it's in a covered area, and I have a big workbench there, and I just keep a bale of straw there and a container of food. That's all that was sitting on there. It's a huge area. And so I walked out one day and found her sitting on top of the bale of straw. And I thought, I bet she's about to lay an egg up there. Well, when she moved and got down, there were actually 4 eggs up there. So she had been using it for several days. And I just thought, you know what? I don't really need this spot for anything but this bale of hay or bale of straw, and I have other places I can put it, so I just moved it, and I put a nest box there. That was, according to my chickens, the best thing ever. They absolutely love where I put this nest box, so I just made 3 more. I probably do have more nest boxes than I need, but I do have 8 little pullets that are 9 weeks old, and so they will be needing some place to lay here in the next few months, so it's going to all work out. But they absolutely love laying their eggs out there, and I've got one hen here, and then I just had one get out of the nest box, and the nest is out of the range of the camera. So they use these all the time, but those are actually their favorites outside, so they must be full when she came in, and she couldn't get to it. But they absolutely love it. It's made them very happy, and, you know, it worked out for me. I would suggest maybe trying that if it's a convenient place and it's not something crazy. Of course, you're not going to build their own nest box out in the middle of the yard or something, but it's a safe area and it's out of the elements, so it worked out for me. But I hope you guys are enjoying our content, and if you are, I hope that you'll stick around. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss anything. It's going to be probably in the next 5 or 6 weeks that we're going to integrate our little pullets with our adult hens, and I know you're not going to want to miss that. So have a fantastic day, guys, and I will see you in the next video.